Hey, my name's Delroy. I'm a registered psychologist. I'm the parent of 3 and the clinical manager for outreach services at Youth Focus.
Hi, I'm Robert. I'm a community engagement officer with Youth Focus, working down in Perth in the Wheat Belt, and previously worked up in Meekatharra or in the Murchison. I'm a Yamatji Martu man from Meekatharra.
So one of the things we wanted to share with you is just some of the work we've done together. We think it's really important to collaborate. I've got a clinical background, which means I can sort of oversee the clinical aspects of the programs that we run. That's really important. We're trying to reduce suicides. We're trying to reduce poor mental health outcomes in rural and remote areas.
Yeah, I come from not a clinical background. A lot of my background is actual lived experience. I've grown up the same way and face the same problems that a lot of our young Indigenous people do, or young people do from the Midwest and from local areas in Perth.
There's a lot of people talking about collaboration. That's something that we're really trying to hit the ground doing. An example of that, I guess, is some of the music stuff we love doing together. For us, it's a really practical way to engage, and there's a cultural sensitivity to that as well.
It's my belief that art and music is a foundation of Aboriginal culture, so just building on top of that, it's in our DNA, I suppose. We tell our stories through our art, we send messages through our music, so it's just putting a modern twist on that and using a clinical sort of approach as well. We combine the two, and what we've found is that sort of perfect mix of clinical and community work. So we come together, nut it out and talk about what different issues we face from a clinical standpoint and a community standpoint, and we find that happy mixture.
And I think that's one of the most important aspects of it for us. There's a long history of colonisation, dispossession and intergenerational trauma. We can't just do away with that by showing up into a community as a non-Indigenous person and expect that people are going to take us seriously. A really big piece for us is to be able to walk together and to learn from each other from both sides.
You know, having someone there that this young person knows or has links to in community, them actually validating this young person's journey is a huge thing as well, and validating why the service is there and what they're doing to help is just that first step.
I think one of the biggest issues for young people in rural and remote areas is actually accessing services, so they don't feel comfortable to just walk into a service provider. One of the differences that we offer is actually going out to their homes, for instance, with a local person, so they're familiar, they know Robert. For a lot of people in some of the areas in particular, it's Uncle Robert. They feel free to open up and talk to Robert about what's going on for them. That's been working really well. Through that, we can start to have some conversations around mental health, and without that, those conversations wouldn't be happening at all. What we would like to do is employ, and what we do is employ local Aboriginal people, and then we can work together on building skills that can stay in the community. That's going to result in longer term outcomes, longer term positive outcomes, and that's really important to us.
Unfortunately, a lot of our youth are normalising bad behaviour or bad decision making, and seeing a positive person that they recognise and they know, seeing them do positive things is very empowering. And then using that clinical aspect as well it just builds to that.
I think we often underestimate the impact of the smaller stepping stones towards positive mental health. So for instance, if we can sit down and write a song with a young person, as they're doing that, they're learning some skills. They're learning language skills, they're learning melody, they're learning to collaborate. There's a lot of really practical skills, there's a lot of mastery. So we believe one of the most important things is to bring skills together, because no one person has an entire skill set to be able to do the sort of work that we think is important. So in the interest of doing that, we want to show you some of the stuff that we've been working on together.
If we come together, great things can be done.